Hello and welcome to a Big Brother edition of the People's Road. Hi, I'm Jared.
And I'm Brooke.
And we are a married couple that really likes reality TV shows. This is a reality TV recap and reaction podcast. We watch tons of reality TV shows and we recap them all here on this podcast. We watch TV shows from Big Brother to The Bachelorette to Claim to Fame to The Circle to The Perfect Match to Love is Blind to Brooke's reality shows on Bravo. I mean, it's just a litany of reality TV shows that you can expect us to cover, including The Golden Bachelor, which we're very excited about, which will be starting up later this month. But for now, like I said, this is an edition of the podcast where we devoted just to talk about this last week in Big Brother season 25. What did you think of this last week?
There were lots of ups and downs this last week, okay? Lots of will they, won't they, lots of who's going home, who's staying. It was all up in the air.
I agree. It's like truly this week, and honestly the season so far has been kind of crazy. I wouldn't say there's been a lot of, it's hard to call it strategic gameplay. There's been a lot of gameplay, I'll say that, but in each and every direction from each and every person with multiple people. It's just been crazy so far.
It feels like a lot of emotional gameplay. Like, I feel like people are going off of emotions. Like, we're like day to day.
I wouldn't even call it emotions, just paranoia. I feel emotional gameplay is when there's fighting, is when there's anger. I do think it's like paranoia, and maybe the emotions come into play with Heisem.
Yeah.
Who, as you know, if you're listening to this podcast, went home this week. The back door was successful. Brooke and I didn't even think it would happen last week. We said for sure that it wasn't going to happen, but that's just how crazy the house has been with the back and forth. We couldn't even count them to do the plan that everyone in the house had agreed to.
Right.
And, I mean, I think that they showed that was still the case because the people that orchestrated the Heisem backdoor, even up to the very last day, were saying, should we do it? Should we not do it? I think that's just how this season has gone so far. So, we had, last week, we saw as the podcast, it wasn't while we recorded the podcast, but we knew it already that Felicia had become our HOH. And we expected it to be, a crazy week with her as HOH, and it surely delivered. We got to see her competition on Sunday, and the one she won was just a golfing competition. You just play putt-putt, and whoever gets the highest score won.
It was all luck.
All luck, but it was, this is that's what the game was. That's why the competition is so diverse. Sometimes it's luck, sometimes it's... So that's why I'm glad on a luck competition, someone who's definitely not going to win a physical competition, as we see later with Felicia and the veto this week, got her win in. She was excited. The house was excited for her. And Izzy and Sari immediately started up Operation Backdoor Heisem.
Yeah. Wait. We forgot to say... We need to backtrack.
Go ahead.
Because there's two really important things happening right now.
Right.
One is that we are live by the pressure cooker.
Yeah.
We have a HOH competition going on. The pressure cooker that we talked about last week, it is happening. We are watching it happen now. Jarrett plans to stay up all night.
Well, I don't know about that. I'm going to stay up as long as I can.
Me, don't know that I can do that. What if they actually truly some point, like, sold tickets and you could go watch? You could go get a ticket and, like, watch.
Well, I think it's technically what they do when you sign up for Paramount Plus.
No, but
like, watch a live feed.
Like, you could go to the house and get in the backyard and watch.
I don't know. I think that would ruin the fun of them being isolated from the world.
I'm a little disappointed that the pressure cooker is not a clear box like it was the first time.
Okay. So explain what's going on. What's the differences? What are we watching right now? So, like Brooke said, we are watching the 24-hour live feeds, which are free this year on Pluto TV of Big Brother 25. We're watching the HOH competition, the pressure cooker comp. And what are some key differences you can see off the bat?
Key differences, it's a larger space. They're not as close as they were the first time.
Right. The first time, season 6, they were in the backyard in a clear glass box.
Yeah.
What else?
This time it appears that they're in like a barn type structure, I would say, but it's very blank. It's just like gray walls, gray floor.
Picture a room from one of the Saw movies.
Yeah, it is pretty creepy in there. Before they had like the boxes in the middle that you could grab. Now they have envelopes on the wall, and when you get out, you get an envelope.
Another key difference is all the buttons were arranged on the outside of inside of the glass box, but you were facing outwards to touch it.
True.
Now they're all in a circle facing inwards to touch there.
Yeah.
No sitting, no kneeling on your knees. They can squat. They can squat if they so desire. However, it's and that's so far it's similar to the other ones in other ways.
It's also dark. Like they turn out all the lights, so it's like pitch dark.
Right, and so it looks like there will be opportunities for the production to turn off the lights, do some scary stuff, convince people to leave. Where we're at in the pressure cooker, it's interesting because if you're listening to this podcast, you probably either one started us first thing in the morning, and I guess haven't checked live feeds, which was interesting. Thanks for the dedication. But you've probably already know the outcome of the pressure cooker comp, so we don't want to saddle you too much with the details. But it is different.
OMG.
Okay, we're gonna get to it.
Sorry,
we got a live reaction.
We've something. Oh no!
Okay,
no.
We're gonna get to it. What happened is, let's catch you up. Where we're at, just so you know, we've had it on since they've come back on, and while one of the feeds periodically were off, Sari and Jared had already let go of their buttons and are sitting in the corner because you're only allowed to leave this pressure cooker comp in group of 3, so they're waiting for their chance to leave. And we couldn't see what one of the punishments were, but in the middle of their pressure cooker apparatus, whatever, is a cage of
snakes.
But that's not scary.
Jared, yes, it is. There's a ton of snakes in there.
Yeah, but you're nowhere near the cage.
I guarantee you that's why they shut the feeds off, because they were pulling these snakes out, and they had to prepare them.
No, they didn't prepare them. They just had to have a production member go in and take the thing off the snakes. I'm sure.
They didn't want to show.
Or maybe Jared or Siri, whoever had to go do it, had to do it. That's all.
But they had to tell them, probably give them some sort of safety.
No, they don't have to give them a safety warning.
No, no kind of safety.
Guys, if you're listening and have yet to watch this competition, these snakes are securely at a minimum of maybe 10 feet from each one of these house guests in a cage.
No. You will gasp. When they did that, they did a close-up camera view on them, and I gasped.
Right, you heard it on the podcast. Yeah, no, it's not that bad. But, okay, so if you hear gasps, if you hear shrieks, you're just getting live reaction.
Know. Something's up.
No, we'll tell you because we're podcasting, and we'll just tell them. And we'll tell them what's happening.
Before we tell them, they'll know something crazy is happening for like a split second.
Okay, so that's happening in conjunction with us recapping the week. Hisam.
Well, we need to also say what another important thing is happening today. In case you forgot.
Oh, I didn't forget. Go ahead. I was going to put that at the end. But go ahead.
We can
it's
wait.
Not a relationship podcast.
Wait to the end.
But we can. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's about
reality
two
TV.
Married people who came together because of their love for reality TV. That's not
why we came together. It's part of why we came together. But go ahead. Just go ahead.
It's part of why we came together. You're right. It's not why. But it is our 4-year anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. What better gift than to be podcasting with my love and watching the revival of the pressure cooker.
Yeah, that is very sweet and very um I was gonna say serendipitous, but that's a little dramatic, I guess. Um yeah, no, it's always fun hanging out and doing stuff that I love to do with my wife. And we've been doing 4 years of that as husband and wife, more years, as a couple together. But so yeah, that's big landmark accomplishment.
Okay, back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, where were we? Heisem. No, we saw the HOH comp where Felicia won. Everyone was super hype. Everyone was super excited.
Yeah.
On that side. And they started going full force on a plan to backdoor Heisem.
Yeah, we know why Heisem, and just for those who aren't watching, or you know why Heisem was put on the block. This guy is a doctor outside of the house by trade. We found out from his brother, who posted on the Big Brother subreddit, that he is also a hobbyist dancer, singer, entertainer, things of that nature. But this guy's a doctor. He's very opinionated. He's very strong-willed, and he definitely brought that attitude into his gameplay in the house. I felt he was very condescending at times. He was he was rude, but not in an overt way, just in a kind of domineering, egotistical, important way. And the house guests didn't like that. None of them did. And so everyone, except for the people they excluded from this plan, which was just Red, really, was on board to get Heisem out.
I'm still not quite sure why they excluded him.
No, they excluded Red because this is what makes the gameplay this week so crazy. Because Felicia and Suri and Izzy are in an alliance with Bowie Jane, Red, Heisem, and Nicole.
Right.
And because of that, because people are loyal to that alliance and they're turning on one of the members of their own alliance, they didn't want to tell members of the alliance because that would risk the plan. But it's also like, guys, you got to fill everybody in.
Yeah.
And when Cameron told Red, which we saw in the Wednesday episode, and Red approached them, they handled it okay, but kind of sloppily. And so now Red is onto their game like, oh, you guys are deceitful. You guys are, y'all playing already a snaky game. So now that just drew him closer to Cameron, who he wasn't even really aligned with.
Right.
But that's just the kind of gameplay they're playing, which is, it's like, yes, they're backdooring Heisem because initially they were like, I'm tired of this guy. He's egotistical. He's always telling us and acting like he's better than us and telling us what the plan is. But it just, the waffling they did, like, should we keep him? Should we not? Is it dumb to get rid of one of our alliance members? Is it not? Will he be loyal to us? Will he not? That was so intense that you literally could not walk away from the feeds or feed updates for more than an hour without the entire house changing its plan. Is going to come back to bite them. That kind of gameplay is just unstable.
For sure. So she initially puts up Cameron and Jag. Right? We haven't talked about this.
Yeah, no, we hadn't talked about that. So yeah, Jag and Cameron are the backdoor targets. Are the pawns. She sat Jag down and talked to him and said, "You're it," and he's smart and knows that the pawns go home, so he's gonna play to get himself off the block. Cameron, this is the second week of getting the pawn, and you never want to be the guy who is people get used to seeing on the block.
Right.
At no point do you want to just be willingly volunteering to be on the block, but he didn't really have a choice. They set it up like that because to keep Heisem feeling as safe as possible by thinking they were sticking to that original plan to get the other side of the house out. And then we saw the Wednesday night episode. Those two were up and playing in the veto.
Right.
What do you think of the veto comp?
I thought the veto comp was silly. It was in the Humiliverse.
Yeah.
Which a lot of them are, but basically they had to crawl under some sludge, under some chicken wire, sit on a throne sort of thing.
Yeah, I think it was like a chicken. What do they call those? Roost?
I don't know.
Yeah, chicken roost.
But they had to sit there and cluck and flap like a chicken 10 times, and then an egg would pop out. Then they had to crawl back under the sludge and put the egg into their carton, and they had to get a dozen, right? So they had to get 12.
You said this week was the week of highs and lows. We definitely saw Felicia at her highest, winning the HOH comp, and at her absolute lowest in competition.
Okay, but she had me cackling. Let me just say, I think she got a total of 1 egg.
I think you're right.
And Jag finished before she even
had to get 12.
You had to get 12. That's what I said. And she got 1.
Right.
And she just literally was like, I could not move my body through the sludge. And this sludge actually was no joke because it literally was taking Cory's pants down.
Yeah.
Like it was so just thick and heavy that it was pulling down his pants.
Yeah.
And a lot of them lost their shoes, their socks to it. And then they had feathers falling down, so then they were covered in feathers. It was a real, like, Home Alone moment. Yeah. Where they, when he's, like, gets all the feathers poured on him when he's robbing the house at the end. That's what they looked like at the end of it.
We got a competition update for whatever reason. We don't have the sound on, so we don't know what they're saying, but Sari is jogging in place.
I think it must be cold. They look cold.
Yeah, I'm sure they pump it in cold air to make it harder, harder for you to stand up.
Yeah.
The last time I did this, it went 14 hours. This competition is not going 14 hours.
No, not at all.
Production would not let it happen.
Sari and Jared are drinking. I guess one of them got beer.
What? Are we sure it's beer? Because she said it tasted disgusting.
Maybe she doesn't like the taste of beer.
No, I don't. Yeah, who knows? Yeah, you're right. Well, guess we'll see on the comp. It looks like they're all doing exercises to keep their bodies warm. Okay, that was their update. Yeah, it was an interesting comp. It seemed simple at first, but seeing how thick the sludge was, and it was definitely hilarious. And I guess I'm not even sure what her strategy was, why she was just sitting there, not actually crawling through it, but maybe was just stuck.
I don't think she had a strategy. I think it was just like genuinely too hard for her.
Right. Speaking of Felicia, she's not allowed to participate in the HOH competition this week, so we also have a live feed of her in the house eating what looks to be
cuddled up on the couch,
caramel popcorn.
Has a blanket, has her robe on, eating popcorn, not a care in the world.
And she's watching the stream like we are. We are actually, it's Inception because we're watching her watching the house guests while we're watching the house guests. So the plan is going as expected or intended with the plan to get Heisem out because Jag wins the veto like we said, and of course takes himself down, and so the plan continues. They even use one of Heisem's lines as you saw in the episode. Felicia saying like, "Oh, as you said, Heisem, why take out a knight when you could get the king?" And they put him up on the block.
Oh, God, savage.
Right. And so, as Wednesday night episodes typically end after the veto competition, even if it's a dramatic veto, even if it's a blind side, even if we know immediately after the ceremony there's going to be fallout,
right?
We don't get to see it on a Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So Brooke and I were very excited. It's our anniversary today to get to see on the episode tonight, Thursday, the live eviction episode. They go back and they show fallout from the veto ceremony. Just some minor details about how Big Brother is structured. We see that veto episode on Wednesday, but it actually happened in the house on Monday.
Yeah.
So Brooke and I, who watch the live feeds, have actually been waiting since Monday to see the immediate fallout of the veto ceremony because we did not get to see that on the live feeds.
Yeah.
So excited as we were, sorry, JB, if you go happen to listen to this when you're much older and know, like, man, why did I go to bed super early that one time when I was 1.5 years old? So we put JB down early. We got our snacks ready. We got our stuff ready. And as we're getting him calmed down with plenty of time left to see the live episode live, the power goes out.
Oh my gosh.
ERCOT finally got us. We've been running the air at, I'm sorry, Houston, Texas. Brooke keeps it at 50 degrees.
Oh my gosh, I wish.
In our place. And I think we single-handedly took down the grid in Houston.
It rained today. It rained. And there was thunder and there was lightning for probably a solid 20 minutes, which is more rain than we've gotten in probably a month, which for Houston, that's weird. And and we're in a heat wave, right?
Right.
So for whatever, a combo of both of those, I guess.
At first, I thought it was like lightning struck something like a power or something, but I don't even think it had to do with that. I just think we were all running collectively our ACs too much in Houston.
Regardless, they shut it down for, 2.5 hours?
I didn't keep track.
It was about 2.5
because I was
hours.
Immediately in we got to watch this show somehow mode. So we didn't get to see the first 15 minutes of the show because we didn't have any power. We couldn't turn our TV on. But we had a fully charged laptop.
Right.
We had phones that could hotspot. And by the time we got to a website that would let us watch it live, because our cable let us down online, we missed the immediate fallout.
Yeah.
So you actually maybe know more than we did. You know what we could have done? We could have watched that 15 minutes before we podcasted. I guess that would have been the solid thing to do.
Oh, yeah, because we have it recorded.
Yeah, we have it recorded.
Well, we just were so excited. We couldn't.
Well, okay. Should we just watch that 15 minutes or you just want to move on?
Oh, do you want to watch it right now?
We'll watch that 15 minutes. You on the podcast won't have to wait 15 minutes. After we cut, we'll come right back into you.
Okay, yeah, let's take a break and watch it, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay, we'll see you in a second. All right, and we're back. That was worth it. I think we've had a lot more to talk about, definitely about how Heisem handled that immediate fallout. What do you think, Brooke?
Y'all, first of all, let me just say, Heisem came into this house, or into his HOH, like Tony Perkins in heavyweights, okay? He got the bandana on his head, and he was like, I'm changing this up. I'm running this show. Get in gear. And all these campers, Felicia, Sari, and Izzy were like, no. Look what we can do. We're taking you out. And that is exactly what they did. Now, I will say I expected a bigger, intense blow up from him because he's a dramatic, intense guy. But that is not what he did give us some intense and drama, but on the other side, like the sad, emotional side.
Yeah, well, we heard after the end of the Wednesday show that his plan was to guilt these people for back during him, and he said I was going to make them forever guilty or whatever. However, and he definitely turned that faucet on to 100.
That's very true.
He was hitting them with I thought I could trust you. We were family.
Very hurt.
I'm working through the hurt right now. So he said hurt family about 17 billion times.
Yeah.
And actually, okay, it kind of, I see what you're saying. It played on their emotions a little bit because it made them go back and forth. Mm-hmm. But okay, so this is, if you only watch the show, there's some things about the edit that you, like, they have to cover a week in about 45 minutes. So here's some other things that led to them wanting to get Heisem out. In the process of trying to get Heisem out, they had to assemble votes. So they made like tons of fake alliances this week. And just because of how the numbers worked out, I won't lay it up. We don't have to get all into it. America was kind of on the peripheral of needing to be in this these fake alliances that they were signaling to kind of, because again, at one point they had made up their mind to keep Heisem.
Mm-hmm.
So they formed an alliance with Jag, Matt, and I don't even remember. There's so many.
Was America in it?
It was going back and forth, right?
Yeah.
But America has kind of caught wind of how shady and deceitful that Felicia, Izzy, and Sari can be.
Yeah.
And is trying to convince Jag, which gets back to Sari and Felicia. So they were at one point were targeting America.
Mm-hmm.
At one point they were targeting Red because he found out about the Heisen backdoor, which pushed him closer to Cam, and so Cam and Red became their targets. Again, those people are kind of in their alliance or pseudo on the peripheral of their alliance. I mean, it was just back and forth and back and forth. So although it wasn't just Heisem's emotions, it was just all kinds of things. But they ended up still doing it and getting Heisem out.
Right.
Heisem's reaction. We also, like we said earlier in the episode, Heisem's brother commented a pretty lengthy comment on the Big Brother subreddit, and he said that Heisem is probably going to be introspective about his time in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely said some things he shouldn't have said and things of that nature. And I just think that's what it comes down to Heisem. Mm-hmm. Oh, another thing that he said that's important. He said Heisem hadn't watched the show until 2 weeks. Until he needed to be, I think, until he was either casted or sequestered to be on the show.
Mm-hmm.
So he just really didn't know what he had in store, I think is part of it.
Yeah.
And if you don't really watch the show that much, it can be hard to know just what's all in store when it comes to backstabbing, how you treat people, all of that good stuff.
Right. I did feel when he was, like, after the fact, even in his diary rooms, he did seem pretty sincere. Well, you're right. He made that comment about making them feel guilty. But at times he did seem sincere about, like, being upset how it all played out.
Yeah, I think he was definitely upset and sincere about that. But remember, he said, this is so stupid. This is so dumb. But of course, I can't tell them that because they don't want to hear that.
Yeah,
but that's the way he would talk to them. And that's the trouble he got into.
Right.
So he changed his approach. But it sounds like deep down inside, he did still think that they weren't smart. Right. And that they were, and he said as much to other people.
Right.
While he was campaigning. They really only show the emotional. They only show the emotional stuff on the show.
Let's just, like, give it up for Izzy, though. Like, round of applause for how she approached him after the fact, like, after he got up on the block.
Right.
And he was like, you knew? And she just, like, laid it out.
Yeah, she was respectful. She said, you have the right to be angry. I apologize for lying to you. It was part of my job. And then she got straight into but this is why we're sending you home. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be belittled. I'm not going to be condescended to. Yep. I'm not going to be told not to make side alliance while you're out making a side alliance and saying that I'm a leftover. I'm not a leftover in this house. I'm not here to play your game.
Yep.
She did it all very respectfully and calmly.
Yep. And he truly was just like, you're not wrong.
Yeah,
like, I can't
gagged.
Even really say it back. Anything back.
Yeah, she gagged him. Now, I will say, I don't want to say love. My fondness for Izzy has grown immensely because she is about as intense as Heisem, just in the opposite direction. You can't take her seriously, but you're rooting for her zaniness. Yeah. Kind of. And she's also too much, but it's like, okay, this is the feeds we signed up for.
She has us cackling, for sure.
But more than Izzy standing up to, like we saw on the show, America also stood up to him.
Yeah.
It was a plot line that was kind of hinted on the show. That he had a conversation in America where he said that he was working with people he didn't really want to work with, and that they were and they had been left over. She told that to them, and then he denied it. He said, "I never said that they were leftovers." And she said, "You said that you worked with the people that were left over, and I know that for a fact. You are not going to gaslight me. I know what happened." So he was in the process of campaigning. He was kind of trying to not put her down, but just like not minimize, just like say that she was a liar. And she said, "I'm not a liar. I know what I said. I know what I heard." So he kind of got his comeuppance. It's a game. It's not like they executed him It's not like he has to be, sent to a foreign land or anything. He's just going back home. He's not on the show anymore. He got to talk to Julie. He was a lot more looser.
Yeah, in his exit interview, he was like, I was like, okay, if we would have seen this some more, even just in his DRs, like that would have made a world of difference. He was just
Yeah.
like happy and laughing and like just seemed like he knew how to have a good time, where in the house he seemed incredibly uptight.
Yeah, he treated the house almost like he was a doctor on call dealing with the most serious of things, and he didn't have time to listen to people. He just had to make decisions. But then once he was out the house, it was just like, oh yeah, I'm just having fun, enjoying
Yeah.
myself. He needed more. You're right. We needed more of that.
Yeah. He definitely was only here to further his whatever career he wants in the entertainment world.
You think so?
Why else would he go on this show? He didn't know the show before. It wasn't like he was like, "Oh, this would be so fun."
That's true. He doesn't strike me as your average influencer. I want to be famous online type. But who knows? He doesn't seem to be part of the battle back because they revealed again the Jared and Cerise secret to him as he walked out the door. And so,
and he was like, "Oh, good for them. I hope they go to the end."
Yeah, no one seemed too upset about that.
Yeah, no one's been upset.
We will talk about someone who might be upset about that when they hear about it. It's time for Showmance Watch. I wish we had.
Before we do that, I have to interrupt this message to talk about what's going on right now in the pressure cooker. So Jared and Sari are out, and like I said, the lights are off. So they're mother and son. So they're like hugging, and they're like whispering things to each other. And I just think that's so interesting because if the lights were on, they wouldn't be doing that because otherwise people would be like, what is going on?
If production was really shady, they'd turn the lights on right when they were hugging.
Right?
And then they'd have to be like, oh, we're in a showmance.
Right?
No, I'm joking.
No.
But yeah, I was really, speaking of showmances, I wish we could afford the budget to make like a jingle for Showmance Watch and have someone come and sing, because it's Showmance Watch time.
Right?
As the point I was making is someone were to find out that Sari and Jared were related, and in fact, she was his mom, I could see that person being upset as being Blue, because as we've said, they are in a full-on, they're in a showmance. Jared is not, well, he's kind of embarrassing himself. He said some things that I'm not sure he would regret, but if he had any common sense, he would. And anyways, all that being said, they appeared to make out under the covers.
Wait, I thought I was supposed to be doing Showman's report.
I was trying to give you. I was trying to throw it to you, but then you cut into the pressure cooker.
Okay,
report.
well, I'm gonna take it over now.
Go ahead.
Okay, so here's what we have going. Jared and Blue, they did talk about it on the actual show now, so it's like out there, right? But things have escalated because we did have a supposed makeout under the covers. Now, we have not seen it. We didn't see it on the feeds, but it's out there. People are talking about it. Sari is not happy. She said in her DR that she did not like it. She thought that it was going to be too distracting to Jared's game. She's been telling him, like, you need to distance yourself because that's going to put a target on y'all's back, which is true. And I don't really know if Blue were to win something, then I might change my mind on this, but it does seem like she's more so just like attached to him and he would win and carry her along. Because
I disagree.
He's almost won a few things.
Right, but I think so is she. I don't think she's using him to just ride along. She said multiple times she would cut him if needed to be.
Oh, they say that.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think it's like it's just like in the house. Well, it's a showmance. There's no other word for it. I
We need
just
to
think that
get.
they're both all right. Cool. You're young and eligible. I'm young and eligible. We're stuck here for 100 days. Let's hang out, kind of thing.
We need to see more. We need to see more of her in the DR. We need to see more of her, like how she's really feeling about it.
Well, she's had conversations with America, and she seemed to be excited. She was like, "Girl, he said he's falling for me," and then she like danced around and was happy about it.
Okay, well, okay, maybe it's just what it is. It's just fun for the time. But we have another little romance
A
spark
crush
on
man's.
the horizon. Crushmance. We have Cory and America. Now, Cory is a 21-year-old little boy.
Oh
And
my goodness, he's a 21-year-old man,
he, I really think that he wants to play a good game, and
and
so
he is.
yeah, and so he is trying to, like actively trying to not like America, but it's pretty obvious that, who wouldn't want a pretty girl, a pretty older girl when you're 21 flirting with you? Like, come on, wouldn't you love that?
Yeah, I think it depends on the guy, but no, yeah, he definitely has a crush on her for sure. He is here to win the money and win the game. Um, but you're right. They're in the house. They're in there. They don't have anyone else to talk to. He said he has a crush on her. They flirt with her. They flirt with
Well,
each other.
he's on accident, he said he did.
Yeah,
And then he tried to be like, no, 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 I don't. But then I also thought another little funny clip was she was like saying she was a have not this week. And she was like, if I'm a have not again, I'm going to self evict, like joking. And he was like, if you're a have not again, I'll be a have not with you. And then she walked away and he's like looking at the camera and he's like, oh my goodness, why did I say that? I'm like one of those stupid boys who will do anything for the girl that they like. It was kind of cute and funny.
yeah, no, they've had just little cute interactions. These live feeds and people watching and people updating, we get to see every interaction these people. Well, that's not true. We get to see hours and hours of interaction that these people have with each other, and so it's like, man, we see every little flirt that happens, and then someone clips that, and then you watch that a million times. You're like, yeah, it's official. I guess they're getting engaged. So, they still, I would say they are very, very just in the very much just like they flirt with each other. But I think that America is there to play the game, but I would say she's there to have the full Big Brother experience.
True.
She's a Big Brother super fan. You want to go there and like, oh, am I gonna have a showmance? That being said, even though she's admitted like, oh yeah, Corey's cute, it'd be cute, to have a little thing. If Matt were to, I even just say her name, she'd drop him easy. She is, and not in a bad way. That just to be clear, but she is a little bit of a flirt because she'll go and sit next to Jag and be close to him too. But I think the strongest relationship, game wise and friendship wise, she has is with Cory.
Yeah,
They're
sure.
in a particular. I see a lot of people online. They want Cory, America, and because Cory and America are trying to kind of talk to Nicole about game, pull them in and start a little kind of trio, but Nicole is just really not looking to play with them. She doesn't trust them very much, and so I don't see that happen. But saying all of this reminded us we forgot to do our normal. I wanted to do that at the beginning of every episode where we talk about our alliance, and that's just where we think of what we think of each. Well, not each person, but 3 people from the game. And I'll tell you why it reminded me, because America going to play a part in my alliance this week. But we'll start with you, Brooke. Brooke, who do you think? These are 3. Give me 3 names. Who do you think is playing the best game? Who's playing the worst game, and who are you rooting for?
So, best game, I might have to say Cory.
Okay.
right now, because I do think he has kind of a good handle on both sides of the house, and I don't think he's doing too much. I think Cerie is bordering doing too much. Cerie, Izzy, and Felicia are like really kind of getting close to the edge.
Right.
I think Cory's doing good. I think as long as Cory can start winning eventually, he'll be in a good place.
Right.
Um,
I just remembered. Actually, I think the questions are the best game, who are you rooting against, and who you're rooting for.
yeah. Rooting against, I can't really say. I don't know. I mean, like Bowie Jane. No offense, nothing personal. I'm just I could take her or leave her. I don't
Right.
feel like she's bringing anything. I think she's just here for a good time, and I don't know. And then I would say can I also be going for Cory, or do I need to pick
No, you can
someone?
go for Cory.
Yeah, I think I'm going for Cory. Oh no, Mimi.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Mimi. I'm rooting for Mimi. I like her. She was talking on. They had a segment about how she was just like irritated by everybody, but she was trying to keep her cool. And I feel like I would be the exact same way. And I think she's playing a level-headed game as well. So those are my 3 for the week.
I think my three are the exact same. Corey's playing the best game. They showed a segment, and this actually happened weeks ago, or it's not that long ago, a couple weeks ago, in the house where Corey dressed up in Blue's clothes, which is like, oh, okay, a lot of guys are like, no, I'm not doing that, for whatever reason they have. But the fact that he's willing to, be the life of the party, stay on people's good sides, but also talk game, not talk game too much, flirt, but not flirt too much, is exactly where you want to be at the house, I think, at this point in the game. I would say Cerise is in a great position. She's still not playing the best game. She's got a lot of people who want to work with her and want to trust her and do trust her, but she's so inconsistent on her strategy and plan that it's hard to say she's even playing a great game, because who knows what game she's playing right now.
Right.
Who am I rooting against? I actually was going to say the same person, only because right now there's not anyone that I actively was like, oh, I just do not want to see them win. It's just that Bowie Jane. It's not that I don't want to see her win. It's just that she's so boring.
Right.
She's really just that, like they say, go ahead and give us nothing. That's what she's giving. And I'm rooting for America. And I've said it. I said it the first week. I said it this week. We're also online. We're calling ourselves Americans.
Okay.
We're getting our patriotic memes in because of her name. And like I said, she's from Texas, down south, and she's a Big Brother super fan. And she looks like she's just enjoying herself and having fun. And so I'm really hoping she doesn't let us down and do something problematic or just play horrible gameplay. Oh, that's another thing. She's kind of insightful. She hasn't lined up good moves just quite yet, but I hope she can get there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're covering it this week. We don't know who the HOH is yet. As of right now, 2 people have let go of their button. That means we have, I'll count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people still pressing their buttons. I haven't. Oh, we should have been keeping track of what hour the feeds came back on, but it's currently 9:40 Big Brother time, and the show ended at 8. So essentially, since then, they've been. So we're on
almost 3 hours.
Yeah, almost 2 hours, right?
Oh yeah, 2. Sorry.
Almost 2 hours of buttons pressed down. The record is 14 and a half. That means it'd be 12 hours more. So that means we'd be checking back in at almost noon tomorrow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, noon tomorrow. I just highly
I just
doubt.
think there's no way.
The game's just not as intense right now. I don't think people are going to need to hold out that long. And if they do, they're actually going to cause more tension in between everyone in the house. But if you had to, we don't know the outcome. Maybe by the time the podcast, actually, I doubt they'll be finished by the time the podcast is out. I think it'll go a little longer than that. But Brooke, if you had to guess who is going to last it and go the distance and be the last one pushing the button before we leave and call it a wrap, who would that be for you?
If I am just like observing them how they are right now, I would say Mimi looks the most solid and has looked the most solid. Izzy is doing the most right now, like
yeah, Izzy
singing
is like
and
having
rapping,
a full
and
concert
I
in her
feel
head.
like that is she's gonna slip up.
100%.
Like, I think she's gonna slip up and like accidentally move her hand. Like, she needs to be careful. But yes, I from right now, I think Mimi. Who do you think?
Okay, literally, it's like it can't be stressed enough that this comes down to just who wants it the most, right? And it's mental in the sense that you have to mentally like say, I'm not going to lift my hand off this button, and it's physical because you do have to stand in place, not sleep, not use the restroom,
True.
not physically mess up for as long as the competition lasts. So Izzy, lights just came back on. Izzy is going to, I think, mess up. Oh, they're all squinting. Blue, I don't think wants it bad enough. Bowie Jane, it would be so weird if Bowie Jane won because I don't even know what she would do.
There's no way.
I don't know why she would win. I could see, if I had to make a guess, I could see Jag or Red winning. I think Red has the determination
I think I could see Jag too.
And Jag, I think, wants power back in the house.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he likes his station of being on the block and not being able to affect decisions. So I could see that. Oh, you know what? No. Okay, you heard me say Jag and Red, but us Americans, we have to stay patriotic. We have to stay loyal. The Eagle has landed, and America is not going to let go of that button,
folks. My God!
You heard it here first. If you woke up early to listen to our podcast, you know that America has won the pressure cooker comp. And we'll see if that holds true on the episode Sunday.
When I get up at 4 a.m. to use the restroom, I'll check.
Oh, the feeds are going to be on. I'm just going to leave the feeds on. And so if I wake up for a moment, I'll walk out here and check. So again, we're going to be covering next week Claim to Fame, Big Brother, all the other reality shows we watch. But if you're used to hearing us on Tuesday nights or Wednesdays, we're switching to just Thursday releases after the live Big Brother show to keep us on track. Live with Big Brother, and because The Bachelor's ended. We'll reassess when Gary's season of The Golden Bachelor starts. But as for now, see you next week. You can come and meet with us online as we talk on all the social media platforms we're on. We're at the People's Rose on anywhere someone's talking about reality TV. And if you go to our website, www.peoplesrose.com, you can go to the show playlist tabs. If you're catching up on The Bachelorette or Claim to Fame or Big Brother and you want to hear our recaps of shows past after you've watched them, go ahead. They're all there assembled for you. And you can just listen along, even to our old episodes. So as we continue to recap shows, those playlists will be updated, and you can follow along at your own leisure. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for sticking it out with us. We can't wait to talk about way more reality TV this fall. And we hope you have a blessed rest of your week.
Bye.
Big Brother.
From the pressure cooker.